In this video, we're going to take a look at this HP Pavilion, probably from the early 2000s, I would say. It has an AMD K6 in it, and I picked it up for a couple of reasons. One, it's super cute. It's very small. And the other reason is because my buddy Joe down at eWaste labeled this thing as won't start right here on top. I would say that's a challenge if I ever heard one. So today we're going to be taking a look at it and see if we can get it running. It's coming up right now on Retro Hack Shack After Hours. Well, hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name's Aaron. This is my second channel, of course, main channel, Retro Hack Shack. If you're not aware, you can go check that out and subscribe. And I also started a gaming channel. Right now I'm playing a lot of Arc Raiders. If you're familiar with that one, it's like the top selling game right now, I think, on Steam. And it's a lot of fun. So I've been doing some gaming. I'm also going to be doing some retro gaming. And so I've created a third channel, which is Retro Hack Shack Gaming. And right now there's just a couple of videos on that channel of me playing Arc Raiders. But yeah, I'll be adding some retro gameplay there as well. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, I want to first thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel. So thanks all of you who do that. If you want to sign up, go to Patreon, or if you choose to do YouTube membership, you can do that over on the main channel. And now let's focus on this HP Pavilion. It has an AMD K6. I did a really quick Google search. I think it has a 350 megahertz processor in it, maybe something like 64 or 128 megs of RAM, and we'll just have to find out what else is inside. Obviously, it has a CD-ROM here on the front and a floppy drive, so that's nice. It's got one of those legacy stickers here. If this was in better shape, I would leave it. I think I'm going to leave it for now, but it's in such bad shape, I might take it off at some point and create my own unique legacy sticker to put on the front of this beauty. Down here in the bottom, we do have a sticker that says it's designed for Windows 98, which places this, of course, I think as I said in the opening, somewhere around 2000 or so. So let's turn this around and see what we can see on the back. I mentioned this was a compact design, and the back of this computer is quite interesting because you can see we have some audio inputs and outputs, but they're up here on the top. So they're really saving a lot of space and keeping things to a minimum so they can pack it all inside of this tiny case. On the back here, though, we do have mouse and keyboard. We have USB, which is nice. And because that helps you get files in and out of the system sometimes if you don't have another way to do it. We've got a display port. We've got a VGA port. We've got serial. We've got parallel. And then I don't know why. I guess that's just a marking there. Maybe there was, at one point, they thought they were going to put another port in there. That's kind of weird. And then down here, there's a joystick port, a couple of audio ports, or at least one audio port there, and what looks like telephone ports. So this is maybe a combined modem sound card. Maybe it works with this. Maybe they're connected together and those sound ports run off and come up here. We'll have to see when we open it up. And then down here we have this is a modem too. So there's another card in here that has telephone jacks and audio jacks. That's very interesting. Somebody must have upgraded this over time. So let's go ahead now. Let's not waste any time. Let's open it up and see what's on the inside. Actually, before I do that, let's just go ahead and turn it on and see what the symptoms are. And then as we go through it, we may find something that is indicative. So let's go ahead. I've got it plugged in. I've got it connected, the VGA connected to the monitor here. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Turn it on. Okay, this literally, I thought Joe meant I'm not getting a picture on the screen or something, like literally. Oh, it just turned on. I was pressing the button and it wasn't turning on, and I just kept pressing it and now it turned on. The hard drive doesn't sound too good, but it is booting up, or at least it's trying to. It's trying to start. So let's see if we get anything on the screen here. Is there a disk in here? Yes, there is. Oh, nice. Transformers Universe. I don't know if you can see that. There was a disk inside. Transformers Universe. All right, well, we'll put that back in and maybe we can play a game later. Okay, so that sound I heard rattling was the CD-ROM, but it did eventually turn on. And sure enough, as Joe said, there's nothing coming up on the screen. So, and do I smell electrolytics? I may be smelling electrolytics coming from the motherboard. That may be the problem. Does it turn off? Let's see, if I hold it down, will it turn off? Yes. So it does turn off. The power sensing or button sensing capabilities working, but yeah, it's not happy. Let's take it apart and see what's going on. This PC might not be happy, but you'll be happy if you order your PCBs from the sponsor of today's episode. Of course, it's PCBWay. You'll be happy because it's easy to order low-cost, high-quality PCBs. Just put in a few parameters like the size of your board, how many you want, upload your Gerber, and bing, bang, boom, you're done and ready to go. Your PCs are shipped to you quickly and easily. They're on their way in no time. With added services like assembly and CNC milling, you can never go wrong with PCBWay, and I thank them for their support of Retro Hack Shack After Hours. All right, well, I did find 2 screws here that are doing something, but not exactly sure. Seems like this should... Oh, wait a second. What's this over here? There's a Q-tip. There's a Q-tip stuck in this thing. Okay, I think... Am I missing a screw? Because this does kind of want to come off. Maybe it has to go back. Well, there's a couple more screws here. I wonder if this whole thing comes off for easier access. Maybe. Let's see. We're getting somewhere. I think that is the way it's supposed to work, but I'm going to have to disconnect all these cables first. All of the IDE cables and floppy drive cable, because those are holding up things here. And then what else is getting in the way? Now we can disconnect the front header, and I think the only other thing on here is the power. Oh man, everything's crammed in here. I can't get my finger on the little clip to get this thing out of here. There it goes. Okay. Does that come? Yeah, it does. It comes all the way out. All right, we're going handheld here. I wanted to show you these cards. There is indeed 2 modems in this thing, but this one up here is a Riptide card. It's a combination modem sound card, and the articles I saw online said it does have decent Sound Blaster compatibility, so if the drivers are still on this hard drive or I can get them running, that might be pretty cool to take a look at. But it looks like the user upgraded to this card later is what I'm guessing, because this would have come with the PC. This one is a modem blaster from Creative Labs, and this was a 56K modem with V.92 capability. So I'm guessing probably what happened was maybe this is a slower modem, then they upgraded to this one later. I don't know, but they're both still in there. I would have thought that would have caused a conflict in the system unless the user really knew what they were doing back in the day to adjust for those conflicts. But who knows? I won't be using this one, but we'll put this one back in so we can test the sound card out if we get that far. And here is the motherboard itself. So you can see we have 3 memory cards installed. This, of course, is the K6 350, I believe, back here. And I don't see any signs of leakage. I know there's a lot of glare there from the lights. Let me see if I can get this down below. Maybe you can take a look. You have better eyes than I do watching this on YouTube. There's some more caps back here behind the memory that I looked at. There's some up at the top here. I don't see any bulging. I don't see any leaking. One thing I do see is a coin cell battery, and I've shown this on the channel before that PCs or motherboards that were made in this era, sometimes when the battery gets really, really low, they will exhibit this type of behavior where you just can't turn them on until you replace the battery. I've had that happen to me a couple times with PCs from around the 2000 era. So I think the first thing I want to do is maybe connect this to a separate power supply altogether, replace that battery, see if this thing will power up. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and test the voltages on this power supply that we've got in there. I mean, it did at least turn an LED on, so somewhere it's getting 5 volts. But I went ahead and shorted the power on, which is usually, you always got to check this, but usually the green wire here on the power supply connector, I've shorted that to ground, so we should be able to turn this thing on as soon as it plugs in. Let me get in front of the camera here and plug it in. There we go. Comes right on. No problem. Hard drive is seeking. So, we've got, again, we must have 5 volts and 12 volts because things are powering up. Let's just go ahead and see what the voltages are here. That should be ground. Okay, we've got 11.6 on the 12 volt line, 5.1 on the 5 volt line, 3.4 on the 3.3 volt line. Should be one more on here, right? Say, there we go. Negative 12 is negative 11.5. So, yeah. This power supply is actually working, but I think that's where I'm getting the electrolytic smell. So that would have to be recapped if we end up using this long term. Okay, I know the computer's a bit off to the side now, but that'll just have to be the way it is. I've just hooked up a temporary switch to what I think is where the power switch goes on the motherboard. And like I said, we've got the new battery. Just hooked up to video, but nothing else is hooked up. No cards, no drives. Let's just see what happens. Okay, it did come on. Oh, didn't have my mic on. I'm not hearing a post beep. I'm not getting a post on the screen. So, yeah, something is still not right here. The only thing I can think that would make a computer not post at all is a bad processor. Otherwise, we should be getting some sort of beep or something out of the motherboard. Could have a bad processor. Let me see if I have another K62 that we can throw in here. Or sorry, a K6 that we can throw in this motherboard. Okay, well, here's the old processor here, and I'll put a picture on the screen. But this thing, when I took it out, was baked. It had a big black mark here, and it had an old crusty piece of thermal tape. And what I suspect may have happened is that the thermal tape actually ended up drying out or something, stopped conducting heat, and then that led to maybe the processor burning up. I don't know. It's just a theory. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen that happen before. But I dug around in my CPU bin and I found a K62. This is a K62, by the way. K62 333, not a 350. So what I had to do was I had to go look up. This is an Asus motherboard that HP OEM'd. They took off a bunch of the components. I'll show you those in just a minute. But then I had to go set the bus frequency for 333 megahertz instead of 350 megahertz. Core voltage and I/O voltage are the same between those two chips. So yeah, while I was looking this up, I found some interesting things. The Asus motherboard, if you were to buy that one from Asus, you would have gotten a Creative Labs chip right here for Creative Labs compatibility and Creative Labs sound. You would have gotten more video memory. It's perhaps an option, but there's no additional video memory on this board. But there was video memory on the Asus board, or there would have been 4 chips right here. So some interesting extra features that HP took off, probably to save money. So now that we've got this processor, there's a different processor installed, let's go ahead and hook it up and see if we get a BIOS screen or post beeps or something. All right, with the furnace running in the background, I'm going to hit the power switch here in 3, 2, 1. Where's the power switch? There it goes. Do we get any beeps? No post beeps yet. I would have expected them already. Nothing. Oh. We got life. We got life. So what I did was I removed the memory sticks. I removed all 3 memory sticks. I wonder if somebody shoved some incompatible memory in here, but that's new. That I was not getting that before with this memory in. So I just took that out by chance, and now I'm getting post beeps saying those 3 beeps usually mean no memory. So maybe I'll take a look at this memory and stick in one memory module and see, maybe that'll get it to boot. All right, here we go. There's one 32 megabyte memory module in there. Let's see what happens. Okay, I took that one out, replaced it with another one. Let's see what happens now. Still nothing. Okay, so none of the memory. I've tested all the memory that was in here. These 3 sticks were in here. I've tested them individually and they are not working. The PC still is not booting and not giving us any beeps. But when I take all the memory out, then I get 3 beeps, which is usually memory, or usually no memory, or can't find the memory. And so I know that the BIOS is working, and I also know that the manual for the motherboard says that you need ECC memory. Well, when I look at this memory here, this one has 4 chips, right? And it's got a spot for 4 more. This one has 4 chips, 2 over here, nothing on the back, nothing to see here. And this one also has 4 chips, nothing on the back. And typically when you have an even number of chips, that is non-ECC memory, because ECC is an extra layer of buffering on the chip, or at least that's how I think of it. So that got me thinking that maybe this is not ECC memory. However, I remember back in the day, I would have thought that this computer here would have booted. Well, they wouldn't have booted, but it would have at least given us some other beeps or some other indication that the memory wasn't correct. And that would have led us down this path. But in this case, it's not. It's just halting. It's like not giving any indication. So what I did to test this out was I looked through all my memory. I did not find any ECC memory, but I went to another e-waste place, a much larger e-waste place that has a lot more stuff, and found some memory that I think is ECC memory that we can use to test this theory out. So I found a couple of these modules here. One says IBM, this one, I don't know the brand name on it, but you can see it has 9 chips on it. And it is PC100 memory because it has this extra slot over here. So this is a good one to test. I've got 2 of these, and I've already put the first one in there, getting ready to test it now. So I've got 2 of them at least that I can test with. Then I found some other memory, and you know, my vision isn't so good, so I was just pulling out anything I could find with 9 chips on it, basically. So I found this module, and it does have 9 chips on it, but, and I think it even does say, no, this isn't the one that says ECC, but it doesn't have the notch here where my pinky is. So this one is actually either PC2 or PC3 memory. I think this is PC2. I think I can see 512 megs on it. So yeah, that's not going to work for this machine. I found another, I think this is also PC2 or maybe PC3, but it does say ECC right there on the label. So this is ECC, but it won't fit in this machine. And again, one more, same thing. I was looking for the number of chips, wasn't really looking for anything else. On the back side, you can see there's 9 chips there. So this is also ECC memory, but this is also either, I think this one is PC3 and it's like 4 gig or something. So this is actually a lot more recent memory. So those are ECC, but they won't fit. But we do have 2 good modules I can test to see if my theory is correct that adding ECC memory instead of non-ECC memory might get this thing to boot. All right. Here we go. Let's give it a try. Like I said, I've got this one stick in here. This is an IBM 128 meg stick of RAM, and it is ECC because it's got 9 chips. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see what happens. Fingers crossed something else will happen. Oh, there's a light. Oh, yes. Hewlett-Packard, expanding my possibilities, but only when you use ECC RAM. Oh, I think this is going to work, folks. We never got this far before. Yes, here we go. So the CMOS is messed up. We know that because we just changed out the battery and this thing probably hasn't been booted in a gazillion years. But here we go. Copyright 1999 Phoenix BIOS 4.0. Very nice AMD K6 333, which is what we put in there. And the CMOS needs to be configured at this point. So, well, this is awesome. Let me go grab a keyboard, kind of put this thing back together a little bit. We can get the drives plugged in, etc., and see if we can get this thing booted up. Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, I've got the IDE and floppy cables hooked back up. I've got the front panel hooked back up, and I've got a keyboard and mouse. Let's just see if we turn this on, what happens. Okay, got power. So I must have the front panel hooked into the right place. Keyboard has power. I'm using my Neo Retro USB keyboard with the HIDman that I saw on my website, which of course converts USB peripherals to PS2 or AT compatible peripherals. A lot of you had ordered that recently. I'm assuming you probably saw Adrian's video where he talked about it. Okay, here we go. So we're seeing fixed disk 0, quantum fireball. We're seeing the CD-ROM. We're seeing the A drive. So this is all looking good. Let's go ahead and go into setup and like maybe load the BIOS defaults or something. Oh, is it seeing the keyboard though? F1 to setup. I'm seeing the, not getting into setup. Why not? I'm in the right mode on the HIDman. I can't test the mouse yet, but the keyboard seems to not be working here. Is it not plugged in all the way? Oh, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Maybe we had a dirty connection back there. That does happen sometimes. Let me plug the mouse back in. Okay, so we'll get a date, system date of 1990. Of course, that's whatever the BIOS was. We know, well, I think we know that it wasn't quite that old, but this BIOS at least defaults to 1990 for some reason. Everything in here looks okay. It is detecting 128 megs of RAM, which was probably on the other screen. I didn't look for it. But yeah, this is actually looking pretty good. AMD K62 333. And it is assuming that we have Windows 98 installed. Windows 98 or NT 5.0 probably does. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to interrupt.
What?
There's bacon in the microwave if you want it.
Oh, okay. Hey, how about that? Bacon in the microwave. And then we have large disk access mode is set to DOS. That could screw us up depending on what they used here. Let's just see what the options are. DOS or other. So I'm assuming if you were using a custom large disk utility, that's what you would choose for that. Let's hope that they did not do that, but we can always come back in here and change this if we can't boot or if Windows can't find the disk, or if we just don't even get to Windows at all. But I'm going to just go ahead and save these like this, and we will try to boot this thing up. Here we go. Not hearing any bad noises coming from the hard drive, so that's good. Not hearing any head knocking or anything like that. We might actually get into Windows 98, or maybe they upgraded this at some point. Let's see. Okay, it's saying check date and time settings. So maybe we do need to change the date and time for some reason. Oh, there we go. Let's just change this to 1999. See what that does. Will we get past the BIOS? Come on, HP, expand my possibilities. Get me into Windows. Oh, that sounds good. Hard drive is, yes, haha, here we go. Windows 98, nice. I do have the sound hooked up as well, so perhaps we'll get some sound out of this thing. We'll see. Okay, it's detected the drive, that's good. Are we gonna get some sort of startup sound? Oh no. Oh, monitor, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure this had a different monitor on it. I thought for a second that it was gonna re-find everything. Give us some sound, baby. That's weird. I wonder if I'm plugged into the wrong port for sound. Now, I put in the one sound card. I didn't put in this card. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't plug in that little expander in the back to the sound card. I wonder if that is making this not, because I don't even have a sound icon down here. I wonder if for some reason that is making it not, the sound not work. But we can take a look and see what's on here anyway. Of course, we've got AOL. We've got Solitaire. What else do we have on here? We can see what's been run on here. I'm going to try not to give any personal information away here, so maybe I'll have to blur some of this out. But we can see what was accessed on here last. So we've got Auto Run, Banner, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony in MIDI, of course, the Chairman, whatever that is. So people are just playing sounds here and opening up new documents. And then there's some personal stuff down here to whom it may concern. Interesting. Someone, pretty typical, nothing special as far as I can tell that's on here. It looks like it was used for accessing the internet and writing Word documents. Maybe they reinstalled this at some point. But yeah, here's some HP 400 utilities. America Online, really nothing special in here at all, unfortunately. So yeah, but that's okay. We got it set up, we got it to work, and still has the original operating system on here. Let me play around and see if I can get the sound to work. And I also want to go back in and see if I put back this 350 megahertz AMD K62 processor, the one that was all scorched. I want to see if this processor actually is working, because there may have been multiple failures on this device. It could have been that the processor was bad, the battery was bad, and then someone tried to fix this by putting in some non-compatible memory. And that was what caused this. I do have some bent pins off to fix. Maybe if I can fix those, I'll try this out and just see if this processor is working. All right, I think we're ready for the next test. I've got the original processor back in. And you know what? Let me move the audio cable. Now that I've got these ports up at the top that had the extension cable that went down to the sound card, now that I've got that plugged in, let me see. Maybe I should move the cable and try a different port. Okay, I've definitely got a line in and a line out on top. I guess I could try line out, but I thought this blue one definitely says speaker on it. So I don't know why that wouldn't be a speaker. But I can try line out and see what happens. Oh, and one other thing I did was I went ahead and added in the extra RAM stick that I had. So this should now have 256 meg of RAM, which was pretty good back in the day. Let's see what happens. Will this processor work? Okay. Yep, I'm getting a signal on the monitor. Yes. So this actually, as burnt as this look, this processor actually 100% works. So that's really good. Oh. Some video issues here. Hello. Something with the cables. Huh. That's interesting. It's doing a scan disk, but the video's messed up now. Oh, there we go. Maybe there's a grounding issue or something. Seems to be working now, though. Okay, so yeah, we've got, everything is working, but we still don't have any sound. I'm going to assume that that is a driver issue. Let's just see if we get any sound out of if we play a MIDI. Nope. No audio device hardware is available. Interesting. Okay, it does have some other controllers on here, and Sound Blaster or compatible, but it's saying it's not working. Let's try to remove these and have it search for them again. Maybe we can get it to find them. Oh, weird. It's still doing that weird thing at this point in the boot screen. What the heck is going on? Once it gets to Windows, it's fine. All right, so I've got some files that I think might work, and I've put them on this USB stick. So let's see if this computer has USB drivers on it. Usually Windows 98 systems do not, but I should be able to fix this. If it does, when I plug this in, it'll go, oh, yep, nice. Maybe nice. Oh, it can't find it. So it found the flash driver, but it can't find drivers. Okay, so this is quite common that the drivers wouldn't be installed. And luckily there is a driver called NUSB 36. If you search for that, you should be able to find this driver, and we can install this from a floppy drive, and that should get the USB working. Then we can get the audio drivers transferred over. Okay, so it looks like this one's meant for Windows 98 SE, so I need to get one that works for, I guess, generic Windows 98. All right, another version of a USB device driver for Windows 95. And this one seems to have done something. At least it installed a driver. Well, let's see. Now it's found another unknown device. Is it going to work? See if it gives us a drive letter. Yep, it does. Here it is. Okay. Yay, making progress. So these Riptide drivers I found are just the, INF and sys files. It's not like an actual install program. So I'm just going to copy these over to the C drive. I'll copy this whole folder over. And we will paste, and we'll see if I'll take out those old audio drivers and stuff, and we'll reboot and see if we point it to this directory, see if it'll install and perhaps even work. See, now I'm not getting the crappy stuff. There's got to be a loose cable or something. Okay, it found a PCI multimedia audio device. So let's see if we point it to the right directory that I just made on here. We'll see if it actually works. Windows was unable to locate a driver for this device. Come on. Oh, there's a cabs file. Let's see what that does. Windows was unable to locate a driver for this device. Come on. What is going on here? Okay, so in keeping with the theme of this is Windows 98 and not Windows 98 SE, I'm wondering if those drivers I found were Windows 98 SE. So I found some drivers for Windows 95, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy these over to the C drive, and we will try installing them from there. Maybe this will work better. I mean, it worked for the USB drivers, so maybe it'll work for the sound card. This one does have a setup program to run, so that's a good sign. Here we go. Riptide Integrated Audio Communication. This is looking better. Riptide audio hardware is detected. Riptide HCF modem is detected. Woohoo! This is looking way better. Let's see if we get some sound here. Please insert the disk label Riptide installation media. Okay. Gen mid WSL cannot be found. I know it's on there. No. So I did see a problem with the fact that this didn't include this file. Maybe we can skip that, but we won't have general MIDI, unfortunately, unless I can find a version of this Gen MIDI WSL that actually works. Okay. Oh, I heard the speakers click. That's a good sign. And it is installing the modem as well. I wonder if somebody was trying to reinstall Windows on this and couldn't find the drivers like I just had a problem with, and maybe but they needed a modem. So maybe that's where this extra modem came from. Okay, it says setup is finished. I have a speaker. Let's see if we get any sound. Yes, it does work. Woohoo! We got sound. Let's see if we can now play. I bet with this MIDI file won't play though now. Let's see. Yeah, it's trying to play, but there's just no sound, because we're missing that file. Let's try something else. Oh, look, that's stuff that I did. Oh, I bet whoever set this up didn't add all the media files, or did they? Looks like they did. Okay, well, we're getting music from Real Player, so that's good. I think is there some stuff in here? First run, Real Play. Is that what we just heard?
Thanks for installing Real Player. The Real.com media bar now makes it easier than ever to find the internet audio and video you want. And with the new Real Player Gold Pass, you get Real Player 8 Plus, as well as exclusive content, premium services, and special offers on Real Networks products, games, and accessories.
So we're not seeing video here. That's okay. I'm not too worried about that. I just want to make sure audio is working. Real Player Jukebox? What's that? Oh, it's got to go out and download. Anyway, we're definitely getting sound. We're just not getting MIDI. Let's go ahead and see what was on this disk that came with the PC. All right, I've inserted the Transformers Universe CD. Let's see what happens. Is it going to autoplay? The CD player might have bit the dust here, folks. Yeah, it just keeps spinning up. It's not going to play, unfortunately. That's too bad. Yeah, maybe we just need to clean the CD off again. It did have some crud on it. That looks like a pretty bad scratch right there. I don't think this is going to work. That scratch is too deep. Yeah, it doesn't sound very good. Let's try a different CD. All right, this is a LivePix Deluxe, LivePix 2.0 from Compaq. I think I've run this before. Let's see if it works. Doesn't sound like it. All right, well, the CD player's having issues. I'll have to see if I can replace that. But we did get the actual computer working, And the real problem looks like was just down to the wrong kind of memory that someone stuck in there. With the right kind of memory, it did come up and it did work. And now it's got 256 meg of RAM installed. So we could go further, fix the video drivers and fix the CD-ROM. Maybe I'll do that in another video. But for now, that's going to do it. There's a message for me that I'm sure needs my urgent attention. I don't know if you could hear that in the background. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out one of these other videos here and be sure to click subscribe down below if you haven't already. I could use a little boost on this second channel to let other people know about it. So the subscribe button, the like button, you know what to do there. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, thanks for all your support and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
End of line.